One of the things that got a little lost in the shuffle during E3 week was a whole selection of development bloopers from Relogic that they posted on the official forums, and these are bloopers apparently specific to the development of Journey's End, and some of these are just too good not to share. So I'll show you these bloopers in just a moment. In the description I'll include a link to the post that includes those bloopers, but let's begin with what Loki had to say. He wrote, "Throughout the development process, plenty of code craziness can take place, as we are sure you can all imagine. We thought it would be fun to share some of the funnier blooper moments from the development of Terraria Journey's End. We hope you will find these as funny as we did at the time, and still do." And without further ado, let's take a look at these bloopers. This first one is Vine Coil. Come a little closer. It just wants to give you a hug. Now, if I had to guess, this obviously does look really strange. It looks almost like a carnivorous plant, right? If I had to guess, I would say this is some kind of error with the whole wind effects that they were coding in. But they haven't really clarified. That's just my educated guess. But it does look pretty cool. I don't know if it's funny, it just looks kind of cool. So that's Vine Coil. Presumably they've fixed this. The next one down is pretty ridiculous. They call it the Wall of Copper Short Swords, and they describe it as the one true evil of Terraria. And as you can see, there's some desynchronization between the bottom and the top. At least it looks that way in terms of what the bottom character is doing. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but certainly there's some swaying going on. I have no idea how this could possibly happen. I'm not a programmer. It does look really cool. It's kind of unfortunate that there's not an item that unlocks this ability. Can you imagine if you had a temporary ability to do this during, say, the Destroyer fight? That would be pretty damn cool. But anyway, it's apparently an error, and they've presumably fixed it, but it does look awesome. So that's the Wall of Copper Short Swords. Next on the agenda is That's One Big Gun, Pew Pew. And I have to say, this is another thing I wish they just kept in the game for a certain item, because, you know, it's kind of cool to see the giant weapon appear. I can't think off the top of my head what kind of a weapon would be appropriate for this kind of an effect, but how nice would it be if you had like a late game axe that was just an enormous axe or something like that, or even if it was a ranged weapon like this one, if it appeared on the screen in some kind of ridiculously large form. But they're not going to keep it. It's, I guess, some kind of programming bug, but I was amused and kind of envious that they had this feature in. So that's that. The next one is Destroy Them with Lasers. It's the only way to be sure, and that's a reference to the movie Aliens. But as you can see, you know, I don't know if you remain on screen if it would look fine, but as they move forward to see where these lasers are going, it's just going haywire. I can't imagine what was going on with the physics of these beams, but clearly it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. These things were tumbling end over end, so I guess they had a lot of programming work to do to fix that. Next up, where all Terraria tax collectors wind up. Which level is that anyway? Well, as you can see, the icon for the tax collectors down in hell. So, just a little inside joke. I'm sure the developers of Terraria are paying a lot more taxes than you and I are on account of all of the sales, but I think anyone who pays taxes can kind of appreciate the dark humor of seeing the tax collector in hell, and I'm sure they fixed this too. Next up, physics. Who needs physics? Clearly not us. Now, there are some things that do go through terrain, like certain dungeon monsters, that sort of thing, but it's unusual to see an item do this, isn't it? And as you can see, they're tossing some kind of item. I'm not sure what that is. Is this something that they've revealed yet? Maybe it's an unknown item. I'm also not too familiar with that star pet. Maybe I'm just not in the loop. At any rate, that was clearly not intended to happen. Presumably they wanted this item to bounce off the ground, but it wasn't, so I guess they had some work to do on this one. Next up, you had one job to change just one number. And I guess this is proof that the Vortex Beater is OP. But, you know, again, like some of the other bugs we're seeing, I kind of wish this had been kept in, because I could always do with a more powerful Vortex Beater, or just one that looked more powerful. I kind of like the effect. What do you think? Next up, let me just test this weapon here. Running away, running away. And again, I'm not really sure what this item is. I guess it's one of the new items, or maybe I'm just not familiar with it. It looks like some kind of magic spawn. But as you can see from Loki's character, he had to get the hell out of Dodge because whatever it was coming right back at him like a boomerang. And so, you know, talk about gifts that end too soon. I kind of wish we were shown how this one ended up, if it hurt the player character or not, but we'll never really know, I suppose. And then the last, we saved the best for last, really. This is Diamond Toilets. And wait for it. Ah, did we really need to see that? Can you imagine the whole headquarters full of these NPCs, and you know, they get like 20 NPCs towards the late game if they're all doing this at the same time? It would be like someone's strange fetish or something. Certainly not for me, probably not for you either, but there you go. I guess they fixed this. I would hope they fixed it. I don't intend on putting toilets in any of my rooms in the castle I've got, but you know, to each their own. I guess this is good for a laugh. And they certainly saved this for last. It's truly ridiculous. So that's the whole list of bloopers. Again, I'm going to include a link to all of these in the video description. I thought you'd want to see them in case you missed the forum post. It's actually a post that Loki had made underneath the Journey's End spoiler compendium post on the official forum, so it was sort of tucked in there, and I hadn't known about it until I was just scrolling through the forum, so I kind of stumbled across it, found it by chance. Anyway, that's it. There'll be more to come in the next few days, so thanks for watching. I hope you were amused at all these things, and I will see you next time.